claim your games?
I did.
I was up at 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning, and I'm like, I wonder if the games are live. I went and checked. I'm like, they're not live yet.
I guess they were live at 3 a.m. my time. So you were like an hour early.
Yeah, it's close. It's close. It's still pretty cool. I can't wait to jump into dig on Stadia.
I really want to play it, and I want to play Grid, but as soon as we're done recording, I'm going to go back to sleep. I slept for about 16 hours yesterday.
That sounds what I had 2 weeks ago. I started on Wednesday, and I slept for 2 days straight, and then most of the Saturday, and then I was feeling good enough to do the show on Sunday. But I had a concert. Do you know the band Great Big Sea? Have you ever heard of them?
No.
They're like a Canadian band. They sing a lot of like old like shanty tunes and like pirate stuff. Like it's one of those bands. They split up, which really sucks because I really love their music.
Your alerts are underneath the frames, just so you know.
Oh, lovely.
So just so everybody knows, Lloyd is doing all of the streaming today, and I am just recording the show so that I didn't have anything that required any brain space to worry about, because I have no brain space right now.
All right, there we go. So the lead singer was in town, and I bought he's doing a solo thing, and I bought tickets, and I actually had to cancel the concert. I was looking forward to it for like 6 months, and my wife went with my son instead, and I'm just like, oh, that's so bad. But I felt like cold sweats and just feeling nasty. So I know where you are, how you're feeling, and it's no fun for anybody.
My wife and I have tickets to go see Camp in April. We're pretty excited about that.
Oh,
they
nice.
play, I don't know, like bluegrassy stuff. It's really good. CAAMP is how you spell it.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. Awesome. All right. I'm ready to go. If you are also ready to go, we're just past 9 o'clock.
All right. I am recording.
Okay.
You want me to start the music?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't even remember how you start the show. Like I don't focus until you say my name, and then I focus, and then I'm on. So it's like always weird when you're.
I'll start it.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'll just start talking after you switch over to the other screen.
Sounds good then.
Okay. All right. Welcome back to Stadiacast, your source for all the Stadia news that you can shake a stick at. I'm Bill. That's Lloyd. What's going on, Lloyd?
Not much, but I'm doing way better than you are, Bill. I feel bad that you're sitting there. You're in the co-host square because you're not controlling any of the stream today because your brain can only focus on one thing at a time right now.
One thing at a time is stretching it. I think that I've got the flu and I'm feeling like garbage, and I told Lloyd last night, I said, hey, can you do the show without me tomorrow? And he was like, absolutely, I can do it. Go get some rest. And then I was like, just send me the show notes when you're done. I'm curious what they'll look like. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, there's so much good stuff to talk about today. I can't miss out. So I really wanted to be able to talk about that stuff. So if I sound like garbage, or if I start hacking up a lung, now you know why. I just wanted to be able to talk about this stuff. But before we get started, we record the show live on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern over at youtube.com/Stadiacast. And if you want to directly support the show, you can do that by being here with us live and use the super chat feature. It'll make sure that we see your messages. We will respond to each and every super chat in the second half of the show. We call that crowd play. And whether you're here live or not, you can also support the show by becoming a member of our channel, which you can easily do by clicking on that join button right down below the video if you are watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this as a podcast, then just head on over to our YouTube channel and check it out. So Lloyd, we always start out with what have you been playing?
I've actually been playing a fair bit this week. It's been it's been a good week for gaming. So we started off, we did a joint first look of Spitlings. Played a lot of Spitlings. So we did that joint first look doing multiplayer. I did a first look of just the single player stuff, and I've been banging my head against some of the levels on Worlds or Floor 3, I think it is. I think it goes all the way down to Floor 0, and the game gets so crazy. It gets crazy hard. It gets crazy with all the mechanics, and I'm just having so much fun about it, or with it rather. So if any of you folks haven't already checked it out, you need to go over to youtube.com/Stadiacast. You need to go to the first look section. You need to watch both the first looks. The single player one is good to get a good idea of whether it's worth the price for you, because if you not are always going to be able to play multiplayer, the single player stuff, there is a lot of content in single player, including B-side levels. There's time-based gates that you have to get through in the main level, and then it unlocks a sub-level. But if the single player stuff, have a look at it, that's fine. But then look at the multiplayer stuff. And I think that's where Spitlings is really going to shine, because I had never played it. Bill had played it for a few levels, and the amount of trash talk that we were doing, and we were being nice because we were recording a video, was already there. I can just imagine what it's going to be like when you're not recording a video that's going to be forever uploaded to your YouTube channel.
Yeah, that game is really good. You know, when I first started playing it, I if people were asking me, do you think it's worth the $15? And I don't like to assign a price tag to games. I don't like to say this is worth this much, because different amounts of money are worth, $15 might be a huge deal to you, and to somebody else it might be like, I spend that on I don't know, something stupid,
coffee every week.
Yeah, I spend that on coffee every week, so I don't like answering that question. However, what I did say is don't buy it unless you have somebody to play with. And I think the more that I play the single player, the less that I think that's true. I feel like that's not very fair to the game to say don't play it or don't buy it unless you've got people to play with. That being said, the multiplayer experience is much better than the single player experience, but they are both good experiences. And if you don't have people to play with, guess what? Join our Discord, runjumpstomp.com/Discord.
Yep.
And once you join that Discord, you can use the LFG channel, looking for group LFG, to find other people to play with. It's really awesome. It's a great game. And I feel like this is one of those games that's going to do extremely well once Stadia base is out.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's one of those games where we were chatting about it when it was announced, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it looks fun. It looks like it's a great arcadey game. I don't really know if I'm going to enjoy it. I'm absolutely in love with the game. Like it is the perfect way to showcase kind of the multiplayer fun on Stadia. What it really needs, though, is to add like the ability to be streaming and then have your viewers immediately join in. Like once those features start rolling out to a bunch of other developers and people have kind of banged them a little bit and worked out all the kinks, I think that's going to be the perfect way to play Spitlings. You'll start the stream on Twitch or YouTube, and there'll be a button. Someone hits the button, they join your game immediately. And maybe with a little bit more, like have the person's name above their Spitlings, so you know who to call out for constantly dying in the corner. It's usually me, so that's good to know. But if it's not me, at least you'll know who the little pink blob or the little choo-choo train is, instead of just randomly calling it out, because it'd be nice to be able to figure out who is who. But yeah, it is so much better. Like it's one of those things, like don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a game by its kind of a bright and colorful aesthetic. Some of those later levels, like when I'm going through the first level, so 3.1, I can't beat the first stage. So I went to 3.2 and I beat that stage, and I'm like, okay, so there has to be something I'm not doing right. You have to figure out new mechanics. You have to figure out the way the mechanics interoperate, that have been introduced over the the first 10 floors. Like, I didn't expect that level of depth and challenge in the game. Some people have likened it to Celeste, which is a really hard platformer. This game is kind of like that in the way that it slowly introduces a bunch of different mechanics that you then have to master, and it's one hit you're done. So it makes it a little bit stressful, but I didn't expect that of the game, and I really love that this game is that.
I agree. It's fun.
All right, and besides Spitlings, I dove headfirst into the Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I had bought it on sale right when it first dropped. And I'd never played it. And I guess I did the first look of it, I believe, but that's all I got into it. I jumped into the game, and I know that we did kind of like the Rise of the Tomb Raider and the other Tomb Raider game, and we said, oh, it's so beautiful, it looks great, everything's fine. This game looks absolutely fantastic. Like, the animation, the character models, the environments, it looks better than Rise. And I thought Rise looked just amazingly I don't know, detailed, and for the amount of snow and sleet and wind and all that stuff at the start of the game, it was amazing how the stream wasn't breaking down at all. And this one looks even better. Like, there's this one shot where you're in a jungle and it's raining and there's mist and there's like foliage all around you, and it looks almost photoreal in some instances. The game is absolutely beautiful, and I'm jumping in and making my way through the story, which is really fun. I just love that you can have these experiences. You don't have to worry about whether you have the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro, or if you have a PC with a 2070 Ti, or if you're running like an old ATI graphics card that can barely run Windows in 4K. You don't have to worry about that stuff. You just buy the game and you're playing with the best possible graphics, and it just streams right to you. I'm absolutely loving Stadia, and the fact that we're getting more news and everything. I feel so hyped every day to jump into Stadia games and look on the subreddit and look on the Discord and just talk about the games, because it is really kind of wonderful that I can hit play and I can play a game that looks as good as Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and it just streams right to my Chromecast or my browser or whatever. It is quite remarkable, and it's a really awesome game as well.
And it's on sale for 2 more days, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently $19.80, down from $60. So yeah, it's on sale actually until tomorrow at 7 p.m. So you got today and tomorrow to buy it if you haven't already. But that's only that's a pro deal. So if you're a pro subscriber and or if you're not a pro subscriber, perhaps you let your subscription lapse and you're like, well, I kind of want that game, but I want to pay $60 for it. Well, if you spend the $10 to become a pro for the month, then you can save more than $10 on purchasing that game. So it's a pretty good deal, and a good reason for somebody who may or may not who wants that game to come back and be a pro. And then along with that, you'll also get the all the new pro games that we should probably talk about.
Definitely. Like, that was my next statement, was going to be, you go there, you save your $10, you get Shadow of the Tomb Raider for half off, even after re-upping your pro, and then you immediately get to claim your new pro games, which are up now. They're available to collect. You can pick up Grid, SteamWorld Dig 2, and SteamWorld Quest. This is a pretty darn good month for pro games, Bill.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the first time where we've had 3 in 1 month, right?
Yeah, right at the start of the month, I believe, because I think didn't we have that once where they did like a late edition and it ended up becoming 3 in the month or something. I'm gonna have to go back and look at all the games that we've gotten. But SteamWorld Dig 2 and SteamWorld Quest. SteamWorld Quest was high up there in my games of the year for the year it came out. SteamWorld Dig 2 is one of my favorite games that I've played in this current console generation. And Grid, which is a game that people won't stop talking about on our Discord. There's a lot of gearheads on the Discord that love Grid. This is a pretty amazing month for Stadia Pro.
I also think the thing about Grid is that it's got this 40 car mode, and up until now, the number of people who The number of people, first of all, who are willing to throw $130 at this experiment that Stadia is, and I'm going to say that I think that it's a successful experiment, but the number of people who are willing to throw $130 at that to try it, that's a small number of people, which is why there's so few people who are on Stadia right now. Of course, that's going to balloon once Stadia Base comes out. But then if you take that subset, that subset of people who will throw $130 at it, the number of people in that group that also care about this kind of racing game is pretty small.
Yep.
And so finding people to do that 40-car race has been pretty difficult up until now, because now everybody that subscribes to Stadia Pro for $10 a month, you know, you're getting all that other stuff plus the sales. Well, now you also have access to Grid, and that means I think it's going to be a lot easier for people to get those 40-man races going, because there's going to be a lot more people who are willing to try that out. And, you know, there's a lot of times where a game comes out and people try it, or a game comes out and people would look at it and say, that's not for me. But then when they get to try that game, they're like, oh, I was wrong about that. My perfect example of this will be when I bought my Steam controller.
Right.
I got, with my Steam controller, a copy of Rocket League. And I don't like racing games generally, and I don't like sports games. So a racing sports game is definitely something that I could not care less about. But then when I played Rocket League, I was like, oh, this is the most amazing game ever. I had so much fun with Rocket League, and I never would have tried that before. And if I wasn't sick, right after the show, I would load up some Grid and try some 40-man racing. But as soon as we're done with the show, I'm going to go sleep.
Yeah, we'll have to organize something. We'll have to talk in the Discord, and maybe for next week or something, plan a huge community race, because that is really, I mean, it's not a feature of Stadia. It's a feature that is given to you because of the power of Stadia. It's not something that is unique to the hardware. It's something that is made possible because of the way that everything is running on the cloud in server architecture. But it would be really awesome to check that out with our community and maybe talk about it. Maybe not next episode, but the episode after. We'll chat on the Discord for sure, because I would definitely want to check this one out. It is a pretty big feature, like being able to get that many people out there. I mean, this is kind of the thin edge of the wedge, that it's only going to get bigger from here, and you're going to get I'm sure in the future you'll get a battle royale game that has 200 people diving into an island, and then you'll get, oh well, 200, we're going to do a 500 person battle royale. And with the way that Stadia architecture is, I mean, it's gonna offer that as a possibility in the future.
And right now in our Discord, runjumpstomp.com/Discord, there is an event that is in the LFG channel. It's a 40-person grid race. It is happening 4 p.m. today. Excuse me, apparently. So in like 6 hours. So
Nice.
if that's something that you're interested in, if you're a pro subscriber, you have access to this game. Head to the Discord, react by clicking on the little check mark, and it'll let you know. It'll send you like a little reminder when the race is about to start. It's a cool feature that doesn't really get used very much in the Discord, but I think everybody's going to enjoy that game.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I sadly am going to be out. I will not be able to join it, but I will eagerly look forward to another race in the future so I can join in with the community.
And I didn't really say much about these, but those SteamWorld games are really, really fantastic games. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Image Informed games. They do a great job, and I hopefully you all enjoy those games as much as I do.
Yeah, like all 4 of them. And we get as a pro, if you are pro, you get the 2 most expensive ones as part of your pro subscription. And then there's going to be SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld, not Quest. What's the other one? SteamWorld. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Turn-based strategy one.
Yeah, SteamWorld. Oh, I can't think of it right now. Anyway, those 2 are going to be coming later today. They don't appear to be on the store, at least for me right now. And they are all fantastic games. In fact, SteamWorld, I'm trying to go back to my 2018 game of the year, and I can't find it right now in my notes, but I believe it was like my fifth heist. There you go. I believe it was my fifth favorite game of the year, and a lot of games came out the year that Quest came out. So I mean, it is a fantastic title and definitely worth looking into.
Agreed.
And it's free. You might as well claim it,
Yeah.
play it. There's nothing wrong. It's card based. When I did a news video and I showed off my first look and a bit of my review that I did of the game on a Nintendo Switch, and it is card based, a card based battler. So you get cards and you get random cards from your hand, from your deck, and then you use those to do your different attacks with the characters that are in your group. But it's not like Magic the Gathering. It's not like Gwent. It is, the cards become just the moves that are available at any one point. It's not like a, I don't know, it's not like your standard card based game where you have to build a deck and figure out how you're going to compete. The cards are just the way that your moves show up on your screen. So I know people,
they're essentially your mana.
Exactly. I know some people in the chat, in the Discord chat, were saying, "Oh, I don't really like card games." Even if you don't like card games, you might want to look into this one. It's different enough where it might be something that that you'll enjoy, even though it does have cards as part of it.
I agree. It's a great game. Check it out.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's move forward. Let's get into our first news. Do you want to take a break before we do that, Bill?
Oh, sure. So listen to our sponsors, buy their stuff, and then afterwards come back and listen to us and, buy our stuff. I don't think we have any stuff, but stick around. Man, that's bad.
Atari introduces the woman of the year, Ms. Pac-Man.
All right, we're back, and like Lloyd said right before the break, we've got some news stuff to talk about. Go ahead, Lloyd. What were you saying?
I was going to say you could buy our free podcast. It's on sale right now for free, so go check that out.
That's right.
All right, well, let's get into our first news story. So 9to5 Google posted an interesting article. A new version of the Stadia app made its appearance on Android, and they do what they do, where they decompile the binary, and then they look for text strings for a bit of clues or hopeful clues for stuff that is coming in the future. So Stadia version 2.7 is out there on Android. And there is some interesting stuff that is showing up as text strings in this one. The first one being that it looks like Stadia base may be closer than we even know, because there are some text strings that allow you to register for an account without a code. Right now, if you go into the Stadia app and you want to create an account, it says, okay, what's your buddy code or what's your founder's code? And if you don't have one of those, you can't continue. It looks like there's going to be a new button that's going to pop up that says continue without a code, which is great. And then there's some other text that is around that, like play for free, start playing, Stadia Pro free trial. So with all this the Stadia based stuff, or what we're assuming to be Stadia based text in the app, do you think Stadia based is like an impending thing that is going to happen really soon, Bill?
I would have thought that it would have come by the end of our pro subscriptions. So I don't feel like I have any basis to decide on this. They have like the pro codes that they were giving out at the Baldur's Gate thing. So maybe that's like their new thing that they're going to do. Just because there's new stuff in the APK doesn't mean that we're going to get it doesn't mean that we're going to be getting Stadia base soon. Although the sooner it happens, the better, because that's when I think that the proof, I was going to say the proof is in the pudding, but that's the wrong phrase. I think that's when everybody will start to understand why Stadia why it can succeed. Because right now everybody's saying, well, you have to pay $130.
Right.
And yeah, that's a valid criticism, but eventually you won't have to. And, people keep asking, why would I get Stadia when I could just do this? Why would I get Stadia when I could just do that? Well, because Stadia is going to be free. And I think that's an important distinction.
Exactly. Like there's a common criticism that is on Twitter now where people are like, "Oh, I haven't bought Stadia yet. There's nothing that's going to make me buy Stadia. There's no games I want to buy on Stadia, so why would I buy Stadia?" And it's always like, "Buy Stadia, buy Stadia, buy Stadia." Stadia, you don't have to buy anything. That's the beauty of Stadia. When base comes out, you can use your you can use your Xbox controller, you can use your PlayStation 4 controller, you can use keyboard and mouse, and you can play your games that way. You don't have to pick up an awesome Wasabi controller, even though I recommend the Wasabi controller because I love it. You don't have to pick up one of those Stadia controllers. That is the beauty of Stadia. And the more people that try it, like a few of my friends have gotten buddy passes and they're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. I just bought a $800 video card for my system. The game I'm playing on Stadia looks just as good as it does running locally on my hardware. Maybe this is the last piece of hardware that I'm going to buy for my computer." I think that maybe is a little bit far to leap right now, but having those people that are like diehard PC gamers or diehard console gamers being able to just jump in by clicking a link and play a game and get a bunch of free games because they get a 1 month free trial of Pro, that is going to convince a lot of people that, hey, the next big AAA game that comes out, maybe I should just buy it on Stadia and I can play it on any of my devices and I don't have to worry about buying another $500 piece of hardware once the new consoles come out.
Right. I have a very good PC. You know, I've got a fancy I've got the fancy CPU, I've got a really nice GPU, everything runs really well. I can run games locally very, very well. So somebody might ask, "Bill, you've got all that stuff. Why do you play games on Stadia?" Because I have a Chromecast on every TV in my house and I can easily play on any TV in my house. I am not forced to be sitting in this chair to play my games. I can play wherever I want.
Yep.
And that is very compelling to me.
Sure.
And if that doesn't matter to you, then that's fine. But eventually I think that there's a lot more people who are like me.
Yep.
Than are like the people who are like, well, I want to have like there was a discussion that was happening the other day and people were talking about, well, I've got this 2080 plus whatever crazy graphics card and they were talking about how their experience was better than everybody. Like they were playing we'll say Destiny 2 because I don't remember what game they were talking about. They were talking about Destiny 2 and they're like, well, it's like it's running at medium settings or something. And I was like, okay, but you're talking about an $800 piece of hardware in addition to the rest of the parts in your computer. Of course it's going to run better than that. That's just a ridiculous comparison.
Yeah.
That's like me saying, oh, you know, you go ahead and have your Volkswagen, but I'm going to have my Ferrari. And okay, yeah, that's great. You have your Ferrari, but my Volkswagen is a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it still allows you to get to point A to point B without having to blow 200 grand on it. That's exactly it. And I think this, for a lot of people, the Nintendo Switch started this mentality of, oh my God, I can game wherever I am. I can game on my TV. I can game on the bus. I can game wherever. But you have to have a dock on every TV. Now you can pretty much game wherever you are if you have your laptop with you or if you have a Chromecast on every TV. And the games will look way better on Stadia than they will on the Nintendo Switch. But I think there's a lot of gamers where the Switch kind of changed their mentality that I don't need a standalone $500 piece of hardware to play the latest games. I can have that if I dock my Switch, but then I can take it with me when I go. I think Stadia is going to be that for a lot of people. They're going to play on their TV when they want to sit on their couch and put their feet up and play the latest AAA game on their TV, but then they can also play it on their Chromebook and take it with them and play it at the kitchen table or in bed or wherever, right? I think there's going to be a huge sea change to the way that a lot of gamers play. You're always going to have those hardcore. I blow $1,000 a month on my computer and I love having the latest and greatest and this is my hobby. Those people are going to exist over here. That's fine. They can buy their hardware. I love that they exist. But there's going to be way more people that are just going to want the convenience of playing Stadia wherever they are without having to buy anything other than the game. I mean, that's huge.
I agree.
All right, moving on from that, one thing that we've talked about on the show is how are they going to limit base? Because Google doesn't have an unlimited number of servers out there. They don't have one server for every person that exists in the world. So there's going to come a point where you're going to want to play a game and that hardware will not be available. So looking at the strings in the latest binary, it looks like this is an interesting way that Google may be limiting the Stadia base rollout. So when you try to sign up, and if your area is full, you're going to get the following pop-up: sorry, Stadia in your area is full. The rest of the text is, in order to provide the best game quality for everyone, we limit the number of accounts on Stadia. We've hit that limit, but we're working hard to build additional room in the Stadia cloud so more people can enjoy the same high quality game performance. Please check in the future, back in the future, for new player availability. So it looks like this is going to be a hard capacity limit for your area. So you're on a phone, you sign up on your phone, Google knows where your phone is. There's a GPS built into your phone, so it knows, oh, you're in Winnipeg. Okay, the closest big cloud-based server is South Dakota or wherever it is. Okay, they have 100,000 blades. We have 200,000 accounts in this area. Okay, there's a good chance that if we let more people in, there's going to be busy signals. We don't want that. And then they're going to cut off your ability to create the account. A very interesting way to put kind of like a flow control on the number of people hitting these blades, and not one that we really talked about, but I think this one might work. And then it works twofold. It limits the number of people that are going to be fighting for the same hardware, but it also then allows Google to see instantly, okay, we have another 5,000 people that want to sign up in this area. We need to drop a bunch more server blades there and then up the capacity, so they can use it as a way to forecast usage as well. Very interesting way to tackle this problem.
Yeah, this string was in the APK for a long time. When the app first came out, this string, because I did a video where I went through and I looked at all of the strings and I picked out the ones that I thought that were the most interesting. And this string about we're out of room, that was one of the strings that was already there. There's a little more language there now.
Sure.
But this is not something new. That being said, yeah, of course they're going to say, hey, if you want to skip the lines, then subscribe to Pro.
Right.
You know, the Pro people get in first, and the people who don't subscribe to Pro don't get in first. They get in later, and that makes perfect sense. That's the way NVIDIA, what is it? What the hell is it called? NVIDIA?
GeForce Now?
GeForce Now, thank you. That's the way GeForce Now works. That's the way Stadia is going to work. I'm sure that's how Xbox
xCloud or whatever they're going to call it.
xCloud. See, my brain. I have no brain.
That's fine.
xCloud is going to work. It's all going to work the same way because they have a limited number of pieces of hardware out there, and it makes perfect sense that they limit those to people who are giving them money.
Exactly. And it's going to be great once Stadia Blades 2.0 come out, because that means that Google's going to be able to keep the 1.0 blades in their server farm, potentially doing other business like crawling the internet or handling transcoding for YouTube or something, but then have those available for the base users, and then get the new beefier hardware for the pro users. And they're going to keep adding capacity just by upgrading their hardware. It's a really interesting way to kind of roll out their product. So you might get a busy signal, but it's not going to be, I want to play the game today that I already bought. It's going to be, I can't even get in to buy the game until they up the number of units in my area. So really interesting way for them to tackle that.
But not just that, but you talk about upgrading hardware. Let's say that they do put out these V2 systems. Those V2 systems can be dedicated to games that would need that hardware.
Yep.
And games like Spitlings or SteamWorld Dig or the SteamWorld games or any other 2D game out there that can easily run on the Stadia blades that we currently have now. So I get the feeling that we're going to have dedicated hardware for not necessarily certain games, but certain classes of games.
For sure.
These are games that are easily able to run on lower end hardware. So anytime that you log in, you're going to be playing on one of the older systems, and it won't friggin' matter. And if
Exactly.
you log in to play like Doom Eternal, well, I don't want to say Doom Eternal because that's coming soon. If you log in to play Cyberpunk 2077, maybe you're going to use the V2 version. I mean, when John Justice was interviewed by, I'm going to say IGN, although I could be wrong about that, he said, look, we already have the next 2 or 3 iterations of our Stadia blades ready to go. We just don't need them yet.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. They haven't talked about their elastic computing much either, which is the ability to kind of bundle multiple blades together. So there's so many options in the future as a developer when you're working on a game. It's like, I need more GPU. It's like, okay, well, you could wait for Stadia Blade 2.0 next year, or you could do the elastic computing, which then is going to bundle together multiple GPUs, which then adds to the load. And maybe they're gonna work on some things where games like Spitlings will share a blade with multiple instances of Spitlings running on it. Like there's some potential for the future around this, but the fact that Google has so many data centers makes this it's going to be a fun problem for them to crack, because they can work on hardware, they can drop into different areas, they can see usage patterns, they can plan the rollout of other things. Other companies that only have like one major data center or a couple data centers, it's all or nothing. Google is one of the companies that's best suited for this cloud gaming stuff, and the ability to have these beefier blades in the future is going to be a wonderful thing. All right, moving on. One other really interesting tidbit is something called the Pro Pass. So one of the text strings is for Founders Edition, Premier Edition, Buddy Pass, and Pro Pass players only. Pro Pass is a new text, a new descriptor. Larian Studios was giving away Pro Passes to people that were in the studio or in the audience for their Baldur's Gate 3 gameplay presentation that just happened. So who knows what Pro Pass is? Is this going to be their name for the cards that you go to 7-Eleven and buy, or Walmart and buy, or whatever, Best Buy and buy? Is this what they're going to call their monthly cards? It's going to be like 1 month, 3 months, 6 month, 12 month. Is that going to be what a Pro Pass is? Or is this just the new thing that's going to come when you buy a Stadia thing in store or online? They send you your controller and then you get a Pro Pass card or code inside of it. It could just be a renaming, or it could be something in the future.
I think Pro Pass is better than Buddy Pass, because Buddy Pass indicates that somebody has to give it to you. Pro Pass indicates more like this is a purchase.
Exactly. Yeah, I want the future where I can walk into 7-Eleven and see a Stadia card there. I think it's gonna be a good thing for Google. Just people are gonna say, what is this? Look into it a little bit better, and then it's like, oh, okay, I can just buy this one card and I can get free games for a year, a couple a month. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, and then second last, but definitely the most exciting for me as a content creator is YouTube streaming. Strings are finally appearing in greater numbers. There's the text string for start live stream options, live stream ended, your live streaming, as well as toggle controls for see viewer count while playing, and then privacy as well. So this looks very similar to what you have when you're on a PlayStation and you bring up the live stream thing. You can kind of set all these little check marks and things to have things appear on the screen. This is really exciting. And I know we talked about streaming, and then you interviewed John Justice and you said, hey, what about streaming? They're like, oh, we have nothing to announce about streaming. It looks like they've been working on it ever since, and maybe they're close to rolling something out, which is extremely exciting.
This is one of the most important things that Stadia can do in order to grow its player base, is making sure that live streaming is easy. And right now, if you want to be a live streamer, you have to have very expensive hardware in your house. You have to have very, very good internet, because most internet, at least in my country, you get the download speed very easily, but the upload speed is very expensive.
Yep.
Like you have to get very high. Like I have to pay, I don't even know how much I pay because my wife is the money boss, but I have to pay a lot of money to get enough upload speed so that I can stream, because you can't get where I live a good upload speed without having a ridiculous plan.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is going to go away once Stadia allows you to stream from them. This is basically the promise that anybody can be a live streamer. This is the democratization of live streaming, in the same way that podcasting is the democratization of broadcasting.
Yep.
It's something that used to be extremely expensive, and now it's not going to be extremely expensive anymore. And people are going to be live streamers without ridiculous investments into hardware and without ridiculous plans for their internet. You just have to have like 20, I would say probably around 50 is what you want, 50 down. And your upload speed doesn't matter, because the upload is coming from YouTube, not from you. And another thing that's really important is that when I go on Twitch or Mixer or YouTube and I watch somebody who is streaming from their PS4 or their Xbox or something, and they're streaming directly from that, A, it usually looks like garbage. B, because their hardware is playing the game and streaming. You know, they're combining two things. But B, the UI is usually a disaster, because they have to have room on the right-hand side of their screen so that they can read chat. Well, Stadia knows that every single one of their customers, well, maybe not every single one, because maybe you're sharing a device with your kids or something, but almost everybody who's playing on Stadia has a phone, because you have to use the phone to do stuff. And so that means that when you go live streaming, you could set your phone down in front of you, and that can be your chat. And now you don't have to have chat on screen when you're streaming.
Right.
It really will make a better viewing experience for people, as well as a better streaming experience for people. And I think that this is the thing that will make Stadia huge, because people will see, oh, wow, look at this. I'm watching this stream of this, this guy's playing Doom Eternal.
Mm-hmm.
And Doom Eternal is going to be 4K 60 on Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've confirmed that already.
Yep.
All right, it's going to be 4K 60 on Stadia. We'll see if it's really 4K or if it's upscaled 2160 or whatever.
Sure.
But it's going to be a really high quality stream on Stadia, and that means that if you go to watch somebody and you're watching them on Stadia versus you're watching somebody who's playing the game on their Xbox or on their PC or something,
yep,
you're going to have it's going to look better on Stadia, because the people who are streaming from their Xbox or their PS4 or their PC, if they're doing that, they then the almost all of them, the max that they can really upload is 1080p 60 frames per second, because it's just too much hardware that has to happen in your house, too much bandwidth that has to be in your house in order to send out anything more than 1080p 60. But YouTube doesn't have that problem. So if Lloyd is streaming Doom Eternal at 4K 60, then his viewers also get to see 4K 60, and
exactly,
that's pretty impressive.
And the way that Google has their server farm set up, they can send you one view. They can send you with viewer count laid up on your screen. They can send you a view that has new comments will just appear on your screen, kind of with like some opacity, so you can see them at the bottom right of your screen. They're popping up. But when they output that version to the web for your stream that you're sending to other people, they can strip all that stuff, because they can basically have an overlay that goes on top of your video and gets sent to you. There's so many really interesting things that they can do here. I just want to see what they're planning. I want to see what it looks like. But yeah, having the ability to just hit a button on your controller and you're live streaming is going to be great. I hope they have a way through the app where I can log into one of my business accounts and stream from that instead, because I don't necessarily want to always stream from Lloyd Hannison on Google, because I don't use it for anything else other than my personal Google account. Hopefully that is baked into it. Otherwise, I guess you have to make You have to make base accounts for those, which means you can't get 60 frames a second at 4K for those accounts. So there's going to be some messing around, I'm sure, but this is really exciting.
I agree.
All right. Speaking of creating other accounts, they're finally adding some more family sharing stuff. We don't know when it's launching. We don't know what it's going to look like, but it says that the game is in use by family, and family sharing lets only one of you play this game at a time. Try a different game. So it looks like it's going to be similar to Steam, even though you can share your Steam library with a buddy. Each of you can only play one game, or the same game, at one at a time. You can't have multiple people playing the same game at the same time, which is great. I know PlayStation allows 2 people to play. So if I buy a game on PlayStation and I have 2 PlayStations in my house, we can both play multiplayer together. It would be nice if maybe this is a developer controlled setting, so that some games that are multiplayer focused, they say, yeah, sure, you buy it once, anybody in your family can play it at the same time. You can have multiple TVs all doing stuff like this. But at least this is pushing us forward to more family sharing stuff.
I'm glad that they're doing it like this. I wish that they were doing it more like the PS4, which I can't believe that the PS4 does that. It's kind of crazy that 2 people can play the game for one buying it once. That's nuts. I'm really glad they're not doing it like Steam, where if my son is playing a game on my Steam account, I can't play any game on my Steam account at all. No games. That always drove me crazy. So this is a happy medium, and I'm happy with it.
Exactly. And then some more information on captures and web on the web and downloading. It looks like there is now a download your capture button, and you can see it in the app or at stadia.com, delete clips in the app or at stadia.com. So finally, the one thing that I've wanted since day one on Stadia is the ability to download high resolution versions of my images easily from the Stadia app so that I can tweet them out. It looks like that'll be coming really, really soon, which is a fantastic thing.
Not only that, but it'd be easier for us to make thumbnails and stuff.
Yeah. 30-second clips. It's like, okay, here's a 30-second clip of a really great death or an amazing thing that I just did. Download it, tweet it, put it on Instagram, do all that fun stuff. It's just going to allow for much more content creation, which is a fantastic thing.
And the more content creation that happens, the better Stadia will do.
Exactly. All right. We talked for a very long time about this, but it is very exciting to know, to kind of a peek into what's coming in the future. Speaking of what is coming in the future, there was a really great 2-hour stream of Baldur's Gate 3 running on Stadia, Stadia's YouTube channel, from a big event at
PAX East.
At PAX East. There was a full room. You couldn't see the room, but you could hear the laughter from everything that was happening. Everyone was totally engaged and clued into this one. So it was really great to see that on Stadia's channel. It looks like they definitely have a really good partnership with Larian Studios. Google and Larian are together, making sure that this is going to be awesome for everybody. But after the stream, a bunch of interviews came out, including an IGN video that came out about Stadia exclusive features that are going to be coming to Baldur's Gate, just because of the fact that it's running on the Stadia cloud. I didn't expect this news quite so soon, so this was really exciting that they were hammering the Stadia only features that are coming. What did you think of the kind of the event as a whole, Bill? And then also for them to come right out and say, yeah, we're running on Stadia. We love Stadia. Stadia is allowing us to do all this other stuff that we ultimately couldn't do any other way. It's going to be huge for the game.
This game is the game that I am most excited for. I care more about this than Cyberpunk. I care more about this than Doom Eternal. I care more about this game than any other, maybe more than Breath of the Wild 2, which Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time. And watching Sven, I forgot his last name, but his first name is Sven. Watching Sven up there killing dudes with a shoe, like he literally, like, he ran out of options and he said, well, screw it, I'm just going to throw a shoe at the enemy, and he ended up killing them.
Right.
That was one of the most hilarious and exciting things. I love Baldur's Gate 3. Everything that I'm seeing about it is exciting, and these Stadia specific features are very, very exciting, where I can be streaming it as a content creator. I'm so excited for this. I can be streaming it and chat can either help me with my dice rolls or they can hurt me with my dice rolls. So I look forward to failing almost every dice roll as I live stream this right here on Stadiacast in the future. This game looks amazing and I can't wait to play it. And he said in the video that it will be coming to early access in a few months. And that early access includes Stadia. So Stadia is going to also have early access, not just on Steam.
Yeah, this is huge, because this is a whole this is confirmation of a whole other way of developers releasing games on Stadia. So Steam early access has been huge. You as a developer, you can say, okay, we're going to be selling this game. It's not ready. Pay us $20. You get early access to it. You can submit bug reports. You can submit feature requests. You can do all this fun stuff. You get early access to it. Allow us to build the game the way we want and make it better. Stadia allowing that is great for us because we get early access to games, but it's also great for the developers because we've already heard how easy it is to publish something on Stadia. Instead of building a huge binary and getting all your assets and sending it to game testers through the internet, they have to download 40 gigs or whatever. Now you publish it, you compile it, it's available on a Stadia blade, and your developers can use it immediately almost. And now having some of that stuff go into kind of like the early access where they can keep doing builds every couple days or whatever. That's really exciting to me as someone that loves to get in there and play early looks at video games.
No, okay, so somebody in chat said something very interesting, and I'm verifying it now. I just opened it up on Steam. It has cross-platform multiplayer, so the people who are playing on Stadia will be able to play with the people who have it on Steam as well, which is huge. In addition to that, I forgot the other thing that I was going to say because I'm sick and my brain isn't working. So I'm going to pretend that I didn't say in addition to that.
Okay, awesome. That's great. So that is the first big exclusive, the ability or the exclusive feature. Not really exclusive feature because you could do that, I guess, on Twitch or whatever. But having crowd choice, which basically allows the community that's watching you to choose what's going to happen or to affect your dice rolls. I play D&D every once in a while, maybe once every couple months with some buddies. It's more of just an excuse to go over there and have a couple beers and laugh. But there's always things where you get to roll 2 dice and you take the higher one, or roll 2 dice, take the lower one, depending on what's happening. It looks like that's built into the game. And if you're like, hopefully you can tie that into like donations or something. It's like everyone that does like a $5 super chat can make me lose this dice roll. You know, watching people play, like there's going to be big streamers that are going to have that as part of their stream. It's going to be fantastic to watch the community just kind of throwing stuff in front of this content creator to say, hey, we want you to lose, because it's way more fun when you're losing these battles because you scream on camera. There's going to be a lot of great content like that being made.
Yeah, not only that, but they said that you can have it. The developers said that they can make it so that I want to talk about optimization, and I'm saying that so I don't forget it because of my brain. But they also said that like you can have choices like I can, say something nice to this person, or I can be a jerk to them, and the crowd can choose if I do the nice thing or if I say the mean thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they can, like, you can have that ability as the content creator to just say, all right, everybody, we're going to play this. Go ahead and you guys decide what's going to happen. And yes, you can do that now on Twitch by just saying, hey, everybody type 1 in chat or type 2 in chat or whatever. And then you kind of look and see. But that's just like, there's a lot of extra work that goes into doing that kind of thing. And if it's just built in, then that's really, really cool. All right. Now, optimization. Sven Vinke, he did a lot of interviews after his 2-hour thing. And one of the things that he said is, because Stadia's stuff is so powerful, they don't really have to worry about optimization right now. He said, usually what we do is we build something and then we optimize it, and that really slows down production. Right now, we don't really have to worry about optimization. We just build whatever the hell we want. And he specifically said, like, I believe that somebody asked him, when is it coming to other consoles? And he said, I don't know if they can run it.
Yep,
Talking about the PS4 and the Xbox One. So I'm sure that the Xbox Series X and the PS5 will be able to run it no problem. But
for sure.
There's a lot of people out there who look at Stadia and they're like, it's not very powerful. And the thing that they don't understand is when you're talking about porting a game versus making a new game, that very much changes how easy it is for you to make a game run well on your system. And right now we're dealing with a bunch of ports, and soon we're going to be dealing with new games, and that's when you're going to start seeing those really good performance issues.
And the really interesting part about what you just said about they're not worrying about optimization right now is just a total difference in development compared to how most games are done. So you come up with a new big feature, you deploy it, you optimize, and then you have playtesting. Now you're basically just throwing everything at it because Stadia is so powerful from the back end. That is really great to see. They also talked about other social features, like when you're playing multiplayer, the ability to see what everybody else is doing. So Stream Connect. They also talked about something where they want Stream Connect available for people that aren't playing on Stadia, which is really interesting. I don't know how they're going to even plan to do that. But it looks like they're looking at what Stadia can offer from a hardware, like just bare hardware, CPU, GPU, pixel pushing functionality, but they're also looking at what else is available in the Stadia API, developer API. So I'm sure Stream Connect is going to be there because they talked about it. The ability for chat to do crowd choice is going to be there, but it makes me really exciting to see what else is going to be there. Other Stadia features that we haven't seen in a game yet coming to this game as part of early access is just absolutely exciting to me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna buy it day one.
Oh, same here. There's no way that I'm not picking this game up. It looks so good, and the ability to jump in and play an RPG with a friend is gonna be great.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it for Baldur's Gate. If you haven't already, if you want to see more of the game, there's like a 2-hour live stream up that you can watch of how the game looks. It's super buggy. So the early access is going to be really buggy, which is going to be part of the fun watching streamers play it. Like at one part during the live stream, they're attacking like a half elf, and the half elf keeps going up a ladder and then down a ladder and then up a ladder and then down a ladder, and then he finally just like, okay, well this is a bug. I'm just going to delete the ladder. So he hits the magic. I'm going to delete the ladder key on his keyboard, and the ladder disappears. There's going to be so many fun things like that as streamers are playing this early access stuff. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, GDC has been canceled. GDC 2020 has been canceled. Pretty much every major publisher and hardware representative canceled their appearance in GDC because of the coronavirus issues. So we were kind of wondering what that means for Google. Google announced on Friday afternoon that they're going to be running something called Google for Games, which is basically what they were going to do at GDC, but they're going to do it online. They're going to have an online way for developers to interact with this stuff. So it's not it's not obviously GDC because there's not everybody together in a room, but they're going to try to emulate that over the internet, which is really great. So the Developer Summit is what they're calling it. This is good news for Stadia developers because they're still going to be able to talk with other Stadia developers, and they're going to be able to compare notes and things like that. It really sucks that GDC isn't going to happen this year because there was probably going to be some really big news coming out of it. But everybody's health is way more important than getting this video game news out there.
That's right.
So yeah, so this is going to be happening. Google, one of Google's comments is, although we won't see you in person, our teams have exciting news to share, and we hope you'll join us for a digital experience to learn more. So the digital experience basically is around what they're already planning, I guess. They wanted to live stream both days of their GDC talks on YouTube. So it looks like they're doing that, and then they're going to have all the sessions online, and they're going to have ways for developers to chat with each other. Really smart way. And it's something that Google can do because they don't really have to bring the hardware anywhere for people to work on it. If you're a developer working on a game, Google says, hey, this piece of code does this really cool optimization. You don't have to run back to your dev kit and try it. You just open up your web browser and hit a couple keystrokes, and it's like, oh, this is really cool. Just a different way to develop games, and it's really great that they can do this stuff online like this.
Just one thing to add to this GDC getting postponed until summer. There's a lot of people who assumed that because Stadia was announced at GDC that we would have like a big announcement for Google Stadia at GDC this year because it's a year later. I would not expect that. I wouldn't expect that at all. In fact, Justin Lambros, Jade Raymond, and Aaron Hoffman-John did a very interesting live stream where they just had discussions about what it's like working on Google Stadia. I went through, I watched it, and I kind of summarized the things that they said on my Twitter account at Run Jump Stomp. The most important points that they made. One of the things that they said was that if there were any major announcements for Stadia at GDC, I mean, and Jade Raymond said not anything big, but some smaller announcements. And of course, GDC now being postponed until summer, I fully anticipate that we will still get these announcements through Google, maybe either during a live stream like they were talking about before, or something along the lines of another community.google.com or .stadia, community.stadia.com thing.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll keep you in the know for that by posting our videos on our YouTube channel. What were you going to say, Lloyd?
There's also a Google I/O coming up in May, so I'm sure they can move some of this stuff over to that event and do a little bit more of developer focused stuff at Google I/O.
Yeah, Google I/O and GDC has never really been about consumer news. It's really been more about getting the developers interested in stuff. So don't expect big news for that. Honestly, I'm starting to think we won't have another Stadia Connect until right before E3.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It'll happen right before E3 because that's when people are paying attention to the industry, but they are not competing for everybody else's attention by competing with all of the other companies that are making announcements at E3.
Exactly. All right, cool. So that's some great news. So we've been going for about an hour, Bill. I think. Do you want to skip the crowd play for this, or do you want to do a real quick one?
Well, we should do a quick one. The tweets are going to have to wait, I think, but we do have some people to thank for our maybe one tweet, but we do have some people to thank for super chats and becoming members.
Definitely
during the show. So if you want to take a chance to do that, go ahead.
For sure. Thanks so much to Lee Wood for your super chats, multiple of them. JB for your super chat. Ray Sherrod for your number one fan pear sticker. I love that one. It's weird to me that there's a dancing pear, and it makes me giggle every time I see it. And then Joel Thompson sent in a super chat for Bill's Tylenol Fund. So Bill, you can now buy your Tylenol that you've been waiting to buy.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, we appreciate each and every one of you coming here and joining us while we do this live. We have one quick crowd play that I wanted to talk about. This one's really interesting from Anthony Telcott. Question for the podcast. I really don't like how the CCU only remembers one network at a time. It makes it much more difficult to really play anywhere. What are your gripes, if any, on the CCU? So that came as a surprise to me. I didn't realize that the CCU could only hold one network profile. It makes sense because you're supposed to have a CCU on every single television. So you would have one in your travel bag maybe that you would set up when you're there. The really cool thing about the Chromecast Ultra and the Google app is you basically just say, I want to set it up. Here's my available networks that I'm on. I want to send this network information to my CCU. So getting it running on another's network at your friend's house or whatever is quick-ish, but it would be really nice if it could store, say, 2-3 network setups so that if you do regularly take it to work and home or other boardrooms, if you're using one at work, it would remember that information. That would be a really great feature for Google to add.
I think that the best thing would be if you could set one network as your home network and just say, never forget this network.
Sure.
And then manually add other ones as you go to different places, but it always remembers your home network. I think that would be better.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do see some people saying that one of the greatest things about Stadia is its portability. And while, yes, that's true, I feel like when you're talking about the Chromecast, that's not really the portable solution that people are talking about. I feel like that's more like using your laptop or something like that.
Yep.
And if you want to use the Chromecast Ultra as your portable solution, that's fine. But yeah, it's going to be kind of a hassle. And I understand why people are irritated by that.
Exactly. I'm super new to Chromecast. I had an original Chromecast and I used it exactly twice and then put it in a drawer and never touched it again. Chromecast Ultra is way more feature ready. It has a lot more features, but I've still only used it on 2 devices in my house, and I've moved it once, and now it's permanently attached to the back of this 4K monitor on my computer. That's where that's where it's going to live from here on out. When I get more 4K TVs in the house, I'll probably buy more Chromecast Ultras because they seem to be super handy for getting content on them very quickly.
Absolutely. Last night I was laying down and I was trying to sleep and I couldn't sleep, and I just said, "Hey, keyword, play the movies that made us" on the bedroom TV, and it started playing just automatically. I didn't have to get out from under the covers because I was too cold. I just barked at my Google Home, and it started playing the show on my TV. By the way, if you haven't watched that show, it's a really good show on Netflix. It's called The Movies That Made Us. It's awesome.
Have you watched The Toys That Made Us?
I watched season 1 of The Toys That Made Us, and a couple episodes of season 2, but I have not finished the second season of The Toys That Made Us. It's a really great show, though.
Such a great series, all of those. I haven't watched Movies That Made Us, but I'm gonna have to jump into that. Maybe I'll get Google to do it. I'll just say, "Hey, Google, do my hard work for me." I don't have to hit buttons on a controller anymore. Which is really great. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to about do it for this episode, Stadiacast episode 47. Bill, thanks for joining us, even though you are obviously not doing well. We appreciate you coming out and soldiering it through this crazy flu that you have right now.
I couldn't let you have all the fun without me.
Oh yeah, I would have said some bad things about you. So you saved that. You saved yourself from that, which is good. So you can follow the show on Twitter at Stadiacast, follow him at Run Jump Stomp, and follow Lloyd, which is me, at Dasme. It's always odd when you're reading text that someone else wrote with different things. Anyway, be sure to use the hashtag Stadiacast so we can find your tweets. Join the Stadiacast Discord over at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. And while you're already joining Discords, I have a Discord, and you can join my community Discord over at res.tv/Discord. The music you're about to hear is Subterranean Kamikaze by Zircon. Check out their stuff at zirconstudios.bandcamp.com. Have a week, everybody. We'll talk to you next Sunday.
Bye, everybody. There we go. It's saved.
Awesome. I saw that you messaged me, but I didn't see your message till just now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there is a huge delay to what I was seeing versus what you were seeing. So you were talking about one thing, and it looked like we were still looking at the wrong screen.
Were you looking at what I was sending you through Discord?
No, sending me through Discord just went black eventually.
Really? You're not seeing my screen right now?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I am now.
Oh, weird.
But I was not before.
Interesting. Oh, well, it seemed to work okay with me manning the controls over here. I don't have the single cam set up for hosting guests. I just have my host one, so I'll have to set up a guest one as well.
Yeah, I kind of like I like splitting up the work so that only one of us is doing one part and the other person's doing the other part. I feel like it let me engage with the show a little bit better.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think it worked okay. We can do this more often.
All right.
Well,
go now.
Yeah, everybody, we're gonna let Bill go. Just enter a flu coma and get some good sleep. So get better soon, Bill. Colds are terrible, and hopefully you feel good soon.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well, that's also going to end it for me. I have a whole bunch of stuff going on today. We have a birthday party to go to. I have to pick up my daughter from a sleepover, and then we are going to a hockey game. So I'm gonna see maybe later tonight doing some live streaming, maybe play some Dig or something, or maybe Quest, because I think I'm gonna do a Let's Play series for Dig. So hopefully we'll see some of you folks later. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time here on Stadiacast.
Wait.
Oh.
What, my Metro Let's Play.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna end that because it's a good game, but it's taken me so long to get through, and I don't think it's a good game for Let's Play.
Right.
I really don't. It's also really long, and I feel like it's slowing me down as I try and get through that game. So I don't know if I'm going to keep recording those. If that's something that is going to make you really, really sad, then let me know and maybe I'll keep doing it. But right now it's a lot of work and very few people are watching it. So keep that in mind.
For sure. Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Hit us up, Discord or Twitter, or leave a comment on one of our videos. Let us know. But yeah, stealth games are always tough for Let's Plays, because there's a lot of time when there's just no action. You're waiting for someone to pass in front of you. So I totally get it.
You're waiting for them to stop talking because it's a very, very talky game.
That too. All right, everybody.
All right, I'm going to shut up now.
That's going to do it for the stream. You folks have a week, and we'll talk to you next Sunday here on Stadiacast.